Okay, so I am currently in the middle of editing episode 2 of our A to Z reading challenge, part 2. And it's taken me a while to do it because some family things have come up. I said this in the video, like I preferenced that in the video. Like if I am away for a while, there's a reason. So in the middle of this video and in the middle of specifically the first and second book, my grandma passed away. She passed away, what day was it? I want to say the first week of March. I don't remember the date, but she passed away the first week of March. It was really hard, and I didn't want to really upload for a while, and I just got around to editing the video. The whole problem was I thought I mentioned this, like after she passed away, that she did pass away in the video, but I can't find the clip, and I don't actually think I mentioned it. I think in my head I said something about it, but I actually never did. So, yeah. And when I was recording this, I just wanted to read my book and kind of disassociate from real life for a little bit. And that is why I sound so casual about it. My grandma was a very important person in my life. She lived in Florida. She was the kind of person that could take the most boring day and make it the funnest day ever. I remember her doing her little water aerobics, and she would do 30 laps in the pool. I'm not even kidding. She loved her little yoga. She just loved being a force. And the last 6 months we had been dealing with her diagnosis. She had lung cancer, and then some other issues came up along with that. We were very positive that she possibly had something going on with her brain. It was a whole thing. So she passed away. And I just needed some time. And I wanted to mention that in the beginning of this video because I don't mention it in the video at all. And I talk about it in the video, but like, it can be very weird hearing, oh, my grandma passed away in a video where like, it's not really explained at all. So I wanted to put this in the beginning of the video. This video was like filmed, is that the right word? Am I a movie? It was recorded like a month ago, and I'm just now getting around to editing it because I lost track of time, and this writing class is kicking my ass. So so continue on with the video. I will see you guys in the next one. Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lex, aka Lexi Rose, and this is part 2 of my A to Z reading challenge. So in this part, we're going to be reading books D, E, and F. I don't know why I counted that. Every episode, we're probably going to do about 3 books. I'm going to pull up real quick while we're doing the intro. I'm going to pull up the summary for each of the books that we're going to be reading. So we're going to be reading. Okay. So for this part, we're going to be reading books D, E, and F. So 3 books like we did last time with A, B, and C. But we have the D book, which is called Dreams Lie Beneath, by Rebecca Ross. We have Education and Malice, which is the ebook, and that is by S.T. Gibson. And then we have From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So let's start with Dreams That Lie Beneath. So I'm going to tell you guys the summary of each book, and we're going to get to reading. All right, so Dreams Lie Beneath. Okay, let's see if I can get this without actually, without messing up. I probably will. Okay, it says, a curse plagues the realm of Anzer during each new moon. Magic flows from the nearby mountain and brings nightmares to life. Only magicians, which I think is the main character and her dad, they're the magicians of the town, or one of the very few magicians in their town. Only magicians who serve as territory wardens and stand between people and their worst dreams. Clementine, who is the main character, is Clementine Madigan is ready to take over as the warden of her small town. When 2 magicians challenge her, she is unwittingly drawn into a century-old conflict. She seeks revenge, but as she gets closer to I don't know how to pronounce that name. Should I look it up? Hold on. His name is Phelan. So she seeks revenge, but as she gets closer to Phelan, One of the handsome young magicians' secrets begin to rise. Clementine must unite with her rival to fight the realm's curse, which seems to be haunting her every turn. So this is a young adult fantasy. Usually, I mean, normally, Rebecca Ross usually only writes young adult fantasies. I could be wrong about that, but from what I've seen, she mostly does fantasies for young adults. And then the next book we have is Education in Malice. Yes, okay, I spelled it right. I was looking at my books. I have a stack of books on my nightstand that are all the physical books that we have to read during the challenge. Not all of them, because I have Oathbound coming today. And Education in Malice. Deep in the forgotten hills of Massachusetts stands St. Perpetua's College, isolated and ancient. It is not a place for timid girls. Here, secrets are currency, ambition is lifeblood, and strange ceremonies welcome students into the fold. On her first day, Laura Sheridan, is thrust into intense... I have a reading channel, and I have a hard time reading. How does that make sense? Okay. Laura is thrust into a intense academic rivalry with the beautiful and enigmatic... How do you say that word? That's a big word for Emma. Hold on. How do you say that word? Hold on.
Enigmatic.
How do you say it?
Enigmatic.
Okay. Carmilla, that's her name. So she has an academic rival, okay. Together they are drawn into confidence of their demanding poetry professor, D. La Fontaine. I love that I couldn't say enigmatic, but I could say La Fontaine. Okay. Who holds her own dark obsession with Carmilla. But as their rivalry blossoms into something far more delicious, Laura must confront... Again, can't read. Laura must confront her own strange hungers, tangled into a sinister game of politics, bloodthirsty professors, and dark magic. Laura and Carmilla must decide how much they are willing to sacrifice in their ruthless pursuit of knowledge. Okay, so we have like a fantasy. I think there's vampires in this place. It has a 3.53 ratings on Goodreads. I've seen people say they like it. It seems to be a very highly regarded. It's supposed to be a dark academia sapphic book, and I'm really excited because this will be the second book that I've read that has lesbians in it. This book is also 352 pages, so not very long. All right, let's do From Blood and Ash. So I first want to clarify, this series, From Blood and Ash, is a very long series. I think there's also another interconnected series that goes along with it. Depending on how I feel about this book, I might read the entire series, but whatever. Anyway, also this will be our longest book of the video, sitting at 622 pages. It doesn't look to be that long, like the physical copy doesn't. Oh, I should have brought it over. I'll show you guys in a minute. It's fine. This is a long summary, so it's gonna be a little bit of a hard one. Also, you like my little art orchid, my little Lego orchid? Okay. A maiden chosen from birth to usher in a new era. Poppy's life has never been her own. The life of a maiden is solitary, never to be touched, never to be looked upon, never to be spoken to, never to experience pleasure, waiting for the day... Sorry, I thought I saw a bug. It's not a bug. My cord was moving. Okay. Never to experience pleasure. Waiting for the day of her accession, she would rather be with the guards, fighting back the evil that took her family, than preparing to be found worthy by the gods. But the choice has never been hers. Okay. And then a duty. The entire kingdom's future rests on Poppy's shoulders, something she's not even quite sure she wants for herself. Because a maiden has heart and soul and longing, and when Hawk, a golden-eyed guard, honor-bound to ensure her accession, enters her life... Okay, we got it. Enemies to lovers, maybe? Destiny and duty become tangled with desire and need. Okay, I'm really excited. He incites her anger, makes her question everything that she believes in, and tempts her with the forbidden. Oh my god. Forsaken by the gods and feared by mortals, I'm so excited. A fallen kingdom is rising once more, determined to take back what they believe is theirs through violence and vengeance. And as the shadow of those cursed draws closer, the line between what is forbidden and what is right becomes blurred. Poppy is not only on the verge of losing her heart and being found unworthy by the gods, but also her life when every blood-soaked thread that holds her world begins to unravel. I'm really excited for this one. I'm really excited for education. Oh my God. Wait. We kind of have a little bit of a theme for this one because from Blood and Ash, I believe they're vampires. I could be wrong. It says vampires in like the genre, like there's like tags, but it's like a romanticy, enemies to lovers, and it has vampires in it. And also Education and Malice, I believe, also has vampires in it, and they're lesbians. And I guess Dreams Lie Beneath is about curses and stuff. So that's fun. So we kind of have a little bit of a kind of a theme, not really, but a little bit new. Also, I think every book that we have for this is an enemies to lovers or rivals situation. That is really interesting. I didn't even think of that. But I'm really excited for all of these books. And I'm going to talk about this in a minute. But I've already started Dreams Lie Beneath. I'm only on chapter 6. I started it because I wanted to just get a little bit wanted to get a vibe of the book, similar to what I did last time with Caraval, where I read a little bit of Caraval while I was reading Bloodmark. I did that with Dreams Lie Beneath. I was reading it a little bit while I was reading Caraval. And I have it on my tablet, so I, was casually reading it, if that makes sense. Let me grab the books. Hold on. Okay, so I don't physically own Dreams Lie Beneath, but recently, this is an interesting development. Recently, Rebecca Ross, her older books got different covers. So they're going to be re-released as paperbacks. I believe those books that those books like Dreams Lie Beneath and some of her older books were hardcover. And I don't think they were like physical books. So she just released paperback editions of some of her older books. And one of those books is Dreams Lie Beneath. So I'm pretty sure if I really like the book, I'm going to buy the physical copy. I don't think I've ever seen Dreams Lie Beneath at all at any of the Barnes and Nobles I've been to. So I guess we'll see. This video is all over the place. So, getting a little more serious here before I leave you. I know I'm sorry to leave you on such a serious note. So as of right now, right, I don't know how what am I trying to say? I don't know how often, I guess, I'm going to be able to read as of lately. So I'm having some family issues. My grandma is really sick. And she's probably not going to be here for very much longer. And I know I'm saying that very bluntly, but I've kind of made peace with it. At this point, I'm just waiting on the phone call, essentially. And, oh, it's really dark in here. Can I turn this light on? And, we're all kind of just waiting. My grandma lives all the way in Florida, and I live in Michigan. And she was diagnosed with cancer last year. It has not been that long, actually. It's only been like a couple months, and she went downhill kind of fast. So we're kind of just waiting at this point. We know it's going to happen. There's no getting around with it. But I've been reading to take my mind off of it, and I've been watching YouTube videos to take my mind off it because I need something to do. Because I know I can't do anything. And I don't necessarily feel helpless because I don't know there's much I can do. But I have to protect my own peace. And doing these videos and reading is really helping me deal with this. So, if I don't know, I don't usually upload like consistently, you know what I mean? But I upload here and there. I kind of upload when I feel like it. But if I stop uploading for some reason between episodes, not just between episodes, but like if I stop uploading and for a minute, let's say a couple weeks or so, that is going to be why. I just wanted to let you guys know and preference that. So yeah. So anyway, I'm sorry to leave on a sad note, but yeah, I'm going to go get dressed and I'm going to read. Okay. So I am on chapter 11 and I'm about to be on part 2 of the book. I'm on page 110, so we're making good progress. The chapters are not very long, and the book is kind of fast-paced. As of right now in the book, we have lost our home to the challenge that we did, and then we are now living with our mom, and then we made a deal to disguise ourselves to get back at the people that stole our house. And that's honestly the best way I can describe it, because I'm getting a headache from looking at screens for so long, so I don't think I'm going to read anymore for a little bit. Well, for a little bit today. But I am liking this book. It's kind of, it's a little witchy. It's kind of cozy, a little bit whimsical. The character reminds me of Iris from Divine Rivals, which is one of my favorite books. But yeah, I think I'm gonna probably call it here for today. Maybe I'll read some more tonight. I'll let you guys know. But I just wanted to update you guys on that. So. All right, it is the next day. I have officially finished Dreams Lie Beneath by Rebecca Ross. So let's talk about it. I did not like it as much as I thought I would. I thought I would have more of a fun time with it because I really liked Divine Rivals, and I really liked what's the other book called? River Enchanted, that's the other one. And I don't know, Dreams Lie Beneath just didn't hit. I felt like the main character and the love interest did not have a lot of chemistry. I did like the fantasy aspect, which is why it got 3 stars, was purely because of the fantasy and the lore and stuff like that. But besides that, I was just like, this book did not have to be 400 something pages. It really could have been like 300 something, and it probably would have been fine. But I felt like sometimes during the book there was a lot of unnecessary lore that didn't really end up mattering, and it's just kind of like, why do we care, you know? But it got 3 stars. We finished it. It is actually the second longest book of this video. The first one being From Blood and Ash, and then the last book that we're gonna read. Well, not the last book. How do I say this? The longest book in this video is From Blood and Ash, and then it goes Dreams Lie Beneath, and then it's Education and Malice. Education and Malice, I found out, is only 322, so I don't think that one's going to take us as long as From Blood and Ash. That's why I wanted to do this in 3s, because almost every video is going to have a one really long book, or maybe 1 or 2 long books, and then like a really short book. Not a really short book, but like I can't speak. A book that is like 200 to 300 pages. Anyway, so with that being said, we are going to read An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson. This is a dark academia type book with vampires, I believe. And it has this gothic aesthetic. It takes place at a university, specifically a women's college. Our main character is there to be a writer. Her name is Laura. I think she's going to be a writer. Yes, I believe so. I think her dad made her go to this school. I'm on page like 8 because what I like to do when I'm like getting ready to start another book, I will read like I will read like the first and second paragraph of that book just to get a feel of it. That's what I did with Caraval, and that's what I'm going to do. That's what I did with this one. So, I think I'm going to start reading it now, or I guess read the rest of this chapter now and see how far we can get today. I have a feeling that this book is going to be a 4 or a 3 star as well. I have a feeling that From Blood and Ash is going to be a 4 or a 5. I don't know. I've heard mixed reviews on this book. Some people like it, other people don't. It is what it is. I like to form my own opinion, so I guess we'll see. Also, this book has a trigger warning, or has trigger warnings. Let me read them off to you, because I think that's important to say. Okay. This work of fiction explores dark themes, so I've selected to provide the following content guidance. If you choose to proceed, please read with self-compassion. Okay. So we have uneven power dynamics, inappropriate relationships between a professor and a student, toxic academic environments, blood, gore, and murder, consensual sexual content, kink, negotiated, and spontaneous, alcohol and drug use, smoking, and then also has references to homophobia, religious discrimination against women, and racist political policies. So that's fun. So yeah, this book is also dual point of view. So we have Laura, who is the main character, and then we have Carmilla. This book also takes place in like the past. It's not like most of the books that I read are not taking place in the present. Like this book takes place in 1968, and this girl later on talks about Jimi Hendrix's new album coming out on vinyl, I think is what she said. I don't know. So with that being said, I'm going to start reading. I'm really excited for this book. I have a feeling I'm going to like it, or I'm going to just like the other, like Caraval and Dreams Lie Beneath. It's just going to be okay. It'll just depend. So I'm going to start reading this now because I want to see how far I can get today. So I'm going to go and do that, and I will check in. I will see you guys. And I will see you guys when I see you. Okay, so I'm in the middle of chapter 6. We have met both girls by now. They both have had their own chapters and their own point of views. And we're finding out a little bit about Carmilla because we don't really know that much about her. She has a interesting introduction to Laura. There's a little bit of tension there, and it's really fun. I like their little banter. Okay, so it's been about 20 minutes ish, and I have finished Education of Malice. Also, my dog is right there. Hi, Casima. I finished it. I gave it a 3.75 on Fable and Storygraph, and then on Goodreads I ended up giving it 4 stars. I like this book. There were parts of the book I didn't like. I didn't really like the ending. My cat's up there. I didn't really like the ending. It was very much rushed, and I felt like there's a central problem that becomes a problem in the middle of the book, and they have to figure that out. But they kind of hold it off until the last couple chapters of the book, and they're like, oh, maybe we should address that. And it gets addressed and resolved really fast, and then we all just kind of move on. If you're looking for a kind of medium pace, dark academia, gothic, horror type book that also has lesbians in it and also has vampires in it, this is the way to go. I say it's medium paced, but the chapters are not that long. And honestly, it's not a very long book either. You could probably finish this within a week, which is what I did. I finished this book within a week. I almost finished it 2 days ago, but I got distracted. Everything going on with my grandma, and we're trying to get her stuff in order and just, family stuff. So I had to take a little bit of a break. And then after dealing with the family stuff, I just kind of wanted a game. And so that's what I did until today. And then I realized, oh, I should probably finish this today so I can get ahead on it. So that is what I did. I did like this. It's 4 stars. It was not going to be a 5, and it's not a bad book. It was good, right? I wouldn't say it's like amazing. It was a good book, and I really liked the vibes of it. So now we can officially start our F book, which is the last book of this video. This is also the longest book of this video, sitting at technically, okay, so I almost said this is the longest book of the challenge so far, but it's not. It is the second longest. So the first longest being Blood Marks by Tracy Deonn, which we already finished, we already read. This book is sitting at 622 pages, but hear me out. It's actually only 460 because on Goodreads and on some of the reading apps, they count whatever else is in the back of the book. So there's 10 extra pages of stuff in the back of the book. I think a sneak peek to the next book and the acknowledgments and all this other stuff in the back of the book. That's why it says it's 600 and something pages, but it's actually 460. So yeah, so this is not the longest book of the challenge so far. It's actually the second longest, but it is the longest book of this video, sitting at 400. Education of Malice was 350, and then Dreams Lie Beneath was only maybe 400 something. It was not that long. It was actually, that one was very fast paced. But so far, that means our lowest rated book of this video is Dreams Lie Beneath, which is the first book, which I find interesting because so the first A, B, and C. So the A book was Assistant to the Villain, which I rated 4 stars. Blood Marked was 5 stars. And then Caraval was 3 stars. And then Dreams Lie Beneath was also 3 stars. Education of Malice was 4 stars. I'm willing to bet this will be a 4 or maybe a 5-star book. I don't know how much I'm going to like it. My cousin loves it, but I don't know. It's going to be very new and interesting. So I'm really excited to start this. But anyway, now I can officially put this book on my read shelf. This shelf behind me, which I might do a whole video of me explaining that. The books behind me on my nightstand slash bookshelf, those books are the books that I've read. Mostly all of them. Everything except for some of the bottom shelf I have read or have not read. But anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get dressed because I look a little bit of a mess right now. And I will see you guys when I see you. Okay, so I am on chapter 2. If you see in my glasses, you can see a timer on my computer. That's because I gave myself a 15-minute timer to work with because I wanted to force myself to read. So that's what you see in the background or in the glare, the lens of my glasses. Anyway, I wanted to read this one part. So, okay. So she just ran into this guy. His name is Hawk Flynn. I love that. Hawk with an E. And she describes him as beautiful. She says, my interest could simply be because Hawk was, well, he was beautiful. It wasn't often that could be said about a male, but I could think of no better word to describe him. He had dark, thick hair that curled at the nape of his neck and often fell forward, brushing equally dark brows. The planes and angles of his face made me yearn for some talent with a brush or a pen. Girl, she is yearning. Also, I love the fact that she literally is like, I don't really know him that well, and I've never really spoken to him until this very moment. But I think he's hot, you know? I just think that's funny, and I had to say that. I had to check in and say that. I did take a little bit of a break to... I took a little bit of a break between Education and Malice in this book. I told you guys I was going to do that. This book is long. All right, so we have officially finished our last book of the video, From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And when I tell you, this book, she's up there. I ended up giving her 5 stars. Love this book. This is actually the first... not the first 5-star book that we have. It is the first 5-star book of this video. So Dreams Lie Beneath was 3 stars. I think Education and Malice was 4, maybe 3. And then this is 5 stars. I really am glad that I did this way, if that makes sense. Because ending the video on this book is really... it saved the best for last. I think this is the best book of the video. I think this is my favorite book of this video. I liked it way more than I thought I was. It started off a little slow, a little shaky, but it really got there in the end. Like the second half of the book, like the last 200 something pages. Oh my God, things were happening. It was so much. And I really liked that cliffhanger that they did at the end. I will be reading the second book. I actually think I'm going to read the entire series. I don't think I'm going to read the entire series anytime soon, but she can officially go on my read shelf. But this is also a long series. There's also like an interconnecting side series that goes in, like it takes place in the same universe type thing. So yeah, I do like it. I love Poppy. I love the main character. I love the love interest. I'm really surprised, however, and I don't know if this is gonna be in the next book or the next, the next couple books that are part of the series. I'm really surprised there wasn't really a found family aspect. Like, I really loved how in ACOTAR, right, the second book, my favorite book ever, Mist and Fury, best book to ever exist. There was a little bit of a found family. It was not a little bit. It was a lot of it. There was a found family aspect to the book, and it really, besides the main character Feyre kind of finding herself, and Rhys and Castiel and Azriel. Oh my God, don't even get me started. I'm gonna start blushing. Anyway, back to From Blood and Ash. Did not know where this book was going. And when it got there, it got there. And I think that's why it's 5 stars. I love the fantasy aspect of it. It's really creative. It's super good. It's not very fast paced. She's medium paced. But yeah, I don't want to give away too much. Oh, no, those are my AirPods. I don't want to give away too much of the book because it is the first book in the series. But just know I liked it and it got 5 stars. And with that being said, we have now completed the D, the E, and the F book for our A to Z reading challenge. In the next video, we're going to be reading, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Gallant by V.E. Schwab, Hurricane Wars by Thea Goosen, and Immortal Dark by Tigress. What's her last name? I can't say it. we'll talk about it in the next video. I don't remember her last name. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye, guys.